it's your girl Kim.
And your girl CJ.
And we're back. You guys, this is so crazy because you may be like either listening to us like you normally do, or you may be watching us, which is really, really crazy because we can see ourselves.
Right.
Well, kind of, because we made sure to tell ourselves, like, make sure you look at the camera and not at the screen at ourselves. So it's a little different. But you guys, we're so excited because we are back, and we're back for a special version of Too Dope to Be Broke, the podcast.
Yes.
We're doing like a little mini series.
Yes.
Because as many of you guys know, we are all stuck in quarantine.
It stinks.
Because unless you've been living under a rock, COVID-19 has been taking us out.
Right.
So me and CJ thought that it would be really cool, really dope for us to kind of come together and reconnect with you guys, because for one, we miss you so much.
Yes.
And for two, we thought that we're all on it. We always say we're on this journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a journey
Yes.
that's new for all of us. So
Exactly.
here we go, y'all. Like, we're back. So we got a lot to offer y'all. But CJ, how are you? And we want the real. We want the real CJ, because that's what I'm about to give.
So this time of quarantine has definitely been an adjustment.
Listen.
So I had to transition from being on campus to now being online at home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's come with some of its challenges as well. So the good side is like I am around my family. The flip side to it is that we are
I'm
all
around my family.
I'm around my family, but we all have like our different schedules, and because of that, we kind of tend to clash. Also, we're not really like used to being around each other like as much. So there'll be times like I wouldn't really like see them, just due to my schedule.
So you have your own like private time,
right?
Yeah.
And so now like, I'm waking up, and it's just like,
hey,
you in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen, kind of thing. So
can we meet again?
Right.
In the kitchen.
Exactly. There was definitely like the first week of us going into quarantine, I was like DoorDash. So I was getting orders from Starbucks, and I'm like, sis and brother man, like I have things that I have to do, but outside of that, it's different.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily. I think I'm now in like month 2. I'm now starting to like adjust to being in quarantine. I'm an introvert, so somebody now forcing me to be introverted. I'm like, get me out of here, like little kid, like banging up against the bars, but I have been adjusting. It's just very interesting times. So yeah, what about you?
My God. So like I don't know. When this all started happening, I think like so many of us, we were all like, how serious is this? Are they, is this being over dramatized? Like, it was kind of like that sense of like, I don't know how real it is.
Seriously.
But I knew that ish was getting real when I was getting emails from my kids' school, and they were like, we're shutting down. Like, and at first it was like, we're shutting down for 2 weeks. And then it was like, we're shutting down for the rest of the month. And then it was like, we're shutting down for the rest of the school year. And I was like,
excuse?
The entire school year?
Yeah.
So that's when it started getting real to me. And it was like trying to make the adjustment of, because like you said, it's like you're a family, so you're together, you live together, but it's different when everybody is home at the same time and everybody's eating or needs to be fed. I have little ones, so like I have to make sure that they're eating. It was just a lot. And so and I'm also used to being gone a lot. So my jobs typically take me out the house for like 15 hours a day. Right. And so when I get home, I'm like, oh, I miss my kids. They're like, where have you guys been? And now I see them every day, all day. So it's been,
I got somewhere to be.
Don't y'all got somewhere to go? So it's been an adjustment. Like, honestly, the first 2 weeks, I was just like, this thing is about to take me out, because trying to like adjust to make sure like I'm being mommy and teacher and all these different other things, plus keep my sanity and trying to like get my creativity, which we'll talk about, because that whole thing, I was like, forget being creative. I'm over this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that finally, like you said, going into month 2, because we're now in April and this thing doesn't seem like it's lifting, even though we know that God can do whatever he wants to do.
Exactly.
From the natural eye, it doesn't look like it's lifting anytime soon. So now I think everybody's just in this space of like, well, let's just figure out how to adjust and make life as normal as possible. So that's where we all at.
Mm-hmm.
But girl, it was a struggle.
Yeah, and I think even too, like when you talked about like the seriousness or like lack thereof, I like you said, I feel like we all kind of felt that at one point.
Sure.
You know? And I know for me, like when things like start to like shift and people were like buying up all the toilet paper, which I'm like,
yes, I'm still trying to really understand. Paper. And thanks to you guys who took all the toilet paper. Me and my family are now struggling with one ply.
Listen.
So thanks.
And I'm like, which I'm still baffled by that. But I was like you. I remember like the first couple of weeks, like I would go into the store and I'm like, man, like y'all are tripping. And just be gliding down the aisles like I'm Usher, just like y'all got fear in you, I'm good. And then I'm like, wow, people are actually like, losing their lives behind this.
Same.
And so I had to like go and like, oh, I'm so sorry, Lord, that I made like a joke of it.
Absolutely.
And then begin to like take it seriously. Absolutely. And then just even like the social distancing. Yeah, that's different. Even though, like, as you can see, we're close. But
we've been social distancing with everybody else.
Right, exactly.
Like, literally, me and my family are in our home, like, all day, every day. And it's just been a lot.
Yeah, but we know we are definitely sending prayers for you guys,
for sure.
And your families and just everybody affected by this. Just keep the faith, you all. Like, I know that right now, it seems like it's the end of the world. When you go on to like look at news or like your apps with the updates, it just doesn't seem like it's getting better. But just be encouraged. Like we're going to come out of this like 10 times stronger. Exactly. Yeah. More appreciative of just the things that we took for granted. But don't allow being stuck in the house to just make you become a downer. Like you have breath in your lungs, like you're still here, your body's still functioning, you're still in your right mind. So why you still have these days, like just keep pushing, you guys. Stay in high spirits, all right?
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of staying in high spirits and staying in that space of like gratitude, that brings us to like what this whole episode is about. We really wanted to jump in and just be able to talk about like our process through this whole quarantine and COVID-19. We're going to have special guests join us throughout this series who will be talking about specific topics, which is going to it's going to get real good, y'all. Right. But me and CJ wanted to talk about the importance of coming back and still creating and still doing what you're called to do during a time where you may not feel like doing it. So I know for me, I'll just jump to a little story time. I remember I remember texting CJ and just like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't feel creative. And I have all this on the inside of me, but I can't seem to get it out. And you were just like, girl, like, I get it, but like, this is what it is. So like, let's talk to our audience in a space of like, they may be feeling sort of the weight of what's happening. And they know that there's things that they're supposed to do, but it's like this feeling of uncertainty that's really making them feel like, I don't know like how to do it, if it's the right time to do it. Like, let's really speak into that, because I think that's big. I think a lot of our listeners, that's the reason why they wanted to hear us again, was to kind of get that hope of like at least someone still like pushing and still doing something and still going on, even in the midst of what seems like uncertain times. So like, what are your feelings about that?
I think first and foremost, give yourself space to feel all that you need to feel. Because right now it is serious times. Right now, everybody is feeling a certain way. They're feeling sad. They're feeling anxious. So I think first and foremost, before you kind of just hop back into the creative process, give yourself that space to feel. Give yourself that moment to acknowledge, this is how I'm feeling. I don't feel like being productive, and here is why. And allow yourself that allotted time to just be. It's all right. I know that I've been seeing online like lately, like everybody.
You be in my brain.
I live there.
Speak on it. Please speak on it.
But online, we're seeing everybody like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it almost puts the pressure, the unnecessary pressure on you to feel like you now have to perform to keep up with the Joneses, excuse me. And then you start to then put out like this false creative, like
Oh,
creativity,
for sure.
because you're not being authentic in that process. You're just doing it so that you don't look lazy. And it's not that you're being lazy.
Ooh.
It's that you're taking this time to just be still, which is necessary.
Yes.
I feel like we have all had those moments prior to this where we were just ripping and running,
going nonstop,
and didn't have that time to just be like in that moment. And we've been saying like, oh, I don't have enough time to do this. I don't have enough time to do that. So now that we have this time, you almost feel bad about like wanting to just sit and take a moment and queue up Netflix or what have you. But we want to actually encourage you to like have those days, have those moments where you are watching TV, have those moments where you're not on your laptop, where your journal is closed and you don't feel like writing, or
you know, me today.
or just doing the whole business plan. Take that time out. But then after you have that allotted time, it's time to get back in the lab.
Readjust. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when you said the whole social media thing, it really like struck something with me because like I said, the first 2 weeks, I was actually feeling guilty about resting because I'm so used to like go. And I actually realized in that time that I find my worth and my value in doing. So when I'm not doing, I feel like inadequate. So I feel like if I'm not doing something, if I'm not creating something, if I'm not doing stuff for other people, then I feel like, what am I here for? And not in like a, what is life? But in a way, like feeling like, what is your purpose in like life? I felt really inadequate for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of all of this because I'm so used to like doing, going and being and meeting here and meeting there. And so I saw something on social media and it was like a little meme and it was saying, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, a new business, or something, it's not time that you lack, it's discipline. And I was like, God dang it! I suck. And so then I felt this like weight of like, Kim, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. What are you producing during this time? How dare you take this time for granted? And then I saw that same meme readjusted by somebody, and it said, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, a new this or new that, it wasn't time, but it had it like crossed out. And it said, you're doing just fine. We're all going through a very traumatic experience and we're all processing it very different. You're okay. And I was just like, the weight of that just kind of fell off because I realized, like, first of all, wait a minute. We are going through a really traumatic time.
Exactly.
And I think that social media really has us thinking that this is a time, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't work. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, find ourselves doing something and creating something, because I do believe that this is a time that God has given us to do some of the things that we've been called to do and we've said that we didn't have time for. But I also do believe that this is a very traumatic time for a lot of people, and we are all trying to process it different. I'm very much a feeler, so I feel people's, like, I don't know what that's called in a spiritual, but CJ knows. But I feel people's emotions, and I can feel the weight and the heaviness of people that I'm around. So when I'm at the grocery stores grabbing things, I can feel the weight of people. I can feel their sadness. I can feel their fear. And then I go home and I want to like put a blanket over my head because I'm just like, the world is just so sad. And it's not necessarily my sadness, but it's the other people that I feel. And I had to realize that, Kim, you have to process this. It's okay. Like, you don't have to feel like you're not going to feel your normal, like, creative, let's bounce this business idea out. And that's okay. And so, social media can make you feel guilty, but it can also deliver you at the same time, depending on who posts in the post. Monitor who you following, because I'm telling y'all, I was looking at people and I was like, am I tripping? Like, am I the only one not out here grinding? Am I the only one not out here doing something with my life? And CJ was like, no, you're okay to feel. Like, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to have to process all this. Like, you're going to be okay. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, because I feel like, a lot of the times, like, society is trying to enforce this, don't feel, just work, just perform. And so now we have robots, we have shells of people, and people who lack empathy, people who are just not emotionally intelligent. And so that's why I feel like during this time, like, people are losing their lives. Like, people are panicking, food items are just flying off the shelves because there is that sense of like, I'm hopeless. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. I have to like fend for my family. And so that's why you do need like that moment just to just take a breather and just calm down and like, you know what? I'm sad today. I'm sad I can't go and be with my friends. I'm sad that I'm not with my coworkers or whatever that might look like, that I can't go for a walk. I can't embrace people without
real. The park was closed. And I was like,
and I love me a good park.
Mount Rubidoux was closed. And I was like, oh, this is real.
Exactly.
Like, you probably want to go back home. Because I was definitely about to take a hike. And Mount Rubidoux was like, not today.
You ain't getting to that cross today, man.
Listen, you better find a cross at your home. You better lay at the feet of the Father in your room, because you ain't getting to this cross.
Not at all.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, so I think then now, after you feel what you need to feel, now it's time to work. And again, it's not just like, okay, I gotta like do
everybody's version of
this.
work is different.
Right. I think really figuring out what is it that I want to work on, what project is going to bring me peace and happiness.
Yes,
that's going to like, you know, give me like that sense of joy. That's going to awaken that passion. Exactly. Yeah. So like kind of like let's like unpack that a little bit. I feel like that's kind of like where me and
that's
Kim
where we
are.
are.
Because before like we have like all these different projects that we are working on, and I know that we say that a lot, but like trust me, like we are not hyping ourselves.
Okay, so here's the thing, y'all. I'm gonna make this real plain. So because here's the thing with social media again. You see what everybody appears to be doing, and so you compare yourself to what you see with your visual eyes. But let me let you in on something. There's some people, CJ and I included in this, some people that they're working on things that they legally cannot talk about. Because they're on there, and I'm not trying to say like we're on this level, but we are. Like there's things that because we keep saying like, oh, we're working on things. And I know you guys be like, okay, well, we ain't seeing it, because legally we have signed like NDAs where we can't talk about certain things we're working on, which is a huge blessing. Like it's crazy when you get to the contract world. It's a big deal. But I wanted to kind of we joke about it, but I wanted to explain that because some of you guys are really comparing yourselves to what you can visually see on social media and what people are telling you they're doing and working on. And I just want to like really encourage you and say that there's going to be things that you work on in the future that you're not even going to be able to talk to people about, because there's going to be tables that you sit at. There's going to be business adventures and contracts that you're going to sign that they're going to be like, you cannot talk about this until we are done. Exactly. And then you can release it. So I just really released that feeling of like comparison off. Like I break that spirit of comparison off of you, so where when you see people, you feel like, oh, now I got to put this like graphic out to show that I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And you don't. Like, I really want you to pray that God begins to sit you at tables with people that will allow you to sign an NDA.
Exactly. Okay? And you walking around like, oh, I got something brewed, but can't talk about it.
Listen, I mean, we got a few of them things signed, and I'm like, Lord, can you just throw a hint out to the world so it won't be looking like we out here doing nothing? My God. That's just the flesh.
No, seriously. But like, you know, with that, you know, so we're like working on a couple of different things. But I know for myself, I can't speak for you, but there were just certain things where I'm like, this is not really like feeling like my fire. Like I know I need to get it done, but I don't feel like working on that at the moment. And so I had to kind of go back and be like, you know what? I want to work on this. It's like where my mind is at. Like I'm drawn to it in that moment. And so I feel like when you guys like find that project, like go all in for it. Don't feel obligated to like go and do something that's not giving you the spark. Because again, I feel like that kind of just stunts the creativity process. You're not able to you're not really able to put like your best creative effort forward. So like for me, like I'm working on a script right now, and me and Kim, like we be going back and forth. Like she like sends me her stuff. I have yet to send mine because I haven't like typed it up. I'm more of like a writer first, and then I go back and type it. But I just think that really like focusing on like the things that are like you're really passionate about. And if you're passionate about your business plan, we say like go and do it, but I think will be beneficial, and you kind of could tap in on that. But just carve out some time. Don't feel like you have to spend the whole day being creative. For me, I'm giving myself 2 hours, 1 hour to work on the novel, 1 hour to work on a script, and then once that hour is done, Netflix.
That's so good, because I'm so glad you said that, because I'm the opposite. Like I felt like what you said, like I have to dedicate like I'm not doing something the whole day. Like, what are you doing? So when I start watching Netflix, I feel like guilty. Like, you should be using this time to write something. But that's good that you can use like time blocks where you can say, from this time to this time I'm working on this, from this time to this time I'm working on that, and then the rest of it is my free time.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because like I'm also in school, so I have to have like designated hours of like when I'm actually like logging on to Zoom for class, and then some hours dedicated to doing homework. So then the remainder hours, like I still want to like utilize it for myself. So that's like me writing, that's me like, you know, like I said, like watching Netflix now. Granted, I'm not going to spend like a whole bunch of time on Netflix. Like I'm still giving like watching. Came up here watching what's it, Tiger King? Just
okay. I watched it. I watched half of the first episode of Tiger King, y'all, and I was like, "Is this a real show? Like, Is this really happen? Like."
At least get to episode 3 and let's get to 7.
That's so my sister was like, you just gotta finish it. You gotta finish it. And I was like, Kelly, I can't get past the first half of the first episode. When Carol Bassett showed her closet and she had all them little cat prints, I was like,
she said,
yeah. And she's real passive aggressive. Now y'all know we going tangent. She's real passive aggressive.
That's why you got to get to episode 3.
I peeped that the first episode when her husband was walking behind her and she was going through the cat little cemetery and she was like, and this was our oldest cat. And he was like walking on her heels and she was like, do you want to lead this tour? I was like, oh, she don't like that. Right. You better back it on up before you end up like the first husband. Okay.
She did it too.
Listen, I gotta watch this show, y'all, because I was like, is this real? And then I'm trying to understand, like, because he recorded his own life, so we're watching what he recorded, and they basically put it together for the documentary, right?
I believe
because he had been like recording himself all his for a long time. I think
they had brought in like a camera crew for this, who was like interviewing these people.
No, but he's in jail right now. Mm-hmm. So then all the footage of him is the stuff that he had like people come in to do.
So from them,
so he already knew. He knew that he was about to blow up. That man was prophetic. Okay. Listen,
didn't get him nowhere, but he was prophetic.
Okay, I don't even remember.
Sorry, y'all.
It was like, don't spend all your time on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I would say this, like my next question for you is, so like we're talking about like creativity and quarantine, but I want to know specifically for you, like how are you balancing the family, creating, not creating? I don't know why I said creating like that, but I think that was a lot. But like, how are you balancing all of that? Because I know for myself, like I don't have any kids. I don't have a husband that I'm waiting on, and not like you know in that way, but just like you know why it's like you have like a different level of serving, and so you know like how can you? Are there some like tips that you could give to the people who can relate?
I'm out here winging it. Listen, y'all, I wish I had like a solid 5 tips for y'all especially who you guys are moms, you're creatives, you're trying to figure it all out. But this is so new to me. I'm used to being able to like go to work, no matter if that was like in my office before we went on set or if it was somewhere else, and have a couple hours to myself to really like dig into what I wanted to dig into and create. It is not like that now. So I spend the majority of my day like entertaining my kids and like making sure they're okay and making sure, because they're bored out of their mind. And so to make sure that they're not feeling like antsy and overwhelmed, I'm like trying to make sure that I can make it as fun and normal as possible. So honestly, y'all, like the majority of the day is spent not doing anything creative. And when I do try and create, I find myself frustrated because I'll open my laptop and then my littlest one will come and like sit in my lap on top of my laptop and be like, what are you doing? What are you working on? What is this? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, can I get a second? But then I just find myself like, just put the computer away. Like, don't even try. And so I get most of my work done between the hours of 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Okay. Like, I just have to, I just have to find that. I have to find what works for me. Right. And so it doesn't work me working during the daytime anymore because I have 2 kids that's ripping and running and jumping off of the back of the couch onto the beanbag. Like, it's a whole thing. And I'm getting half of my braids yanked out. Like, it's just, it's a lot. And so, so I don't have any tips, but I think that if I had to give one, find the time that works for you to do what you can do, and don't try and like model your life based on other people's, because it just looks different for everybody. So I find that I get my best work done when the kids are asleep, or I didn't at least have them settle down and I'm in my room with my music going on, and I'm able to write my scripts or work on Too Dope to Be Broke stuff or visualize my life and things like that. But yeah, just really letting go of the expectation of what it should look like, and just finding a groove of what works.
That is so
like
good.
It's not gonna, because I be looking at certain people and they be like, yeah, I got a schedule and my kids do this time, and then a routine and this and that. Y'all, I tried to create a routine. I was so proud of myself. I wrote a schedule on my phone, and I was like, this is the new schedule. I'm gonna wake up, we're gonna exercise as a family, we're gonna eat breakfast, we're gonna do all this, we're gonna do that. I showed my oldest, and she was just like, what is this? And I was like, it's our new like schedule, it's a routine, I'm so excited. And she was just like, no. And I was like, wait, no? And she was just like, no. She's like, that's not gonna work. And she didn't mean it in a mean way. She was just like
that's not
this is not realistic for us. So like let's not. And my kids ain't just going around just being crazy, but she was being real. Like, this is not us. Like, it's fine. Like, it's okay. And so I was like, well, dang, can we at least try it? So I just have to find what works for me and my family, because I could have enforced that schedule. I could have enforced that routine, because I've heard that that's what other people are doing, and that's what is working for other people. And then I would have just been dealing with 2 frustrated kids and it just would have been a whole thing. So you got to find out what works for you during this time and work that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's good.
Yeah.
So for me, I am like Kim. I attempted to create a schedule but the thing is, like, with my time of creativity, like when it because I'm now back into like the nocturnal. Yeah. So because before I'm like, oh no, I gotta go to bed, y'all. So but now with everything that's kind of like taking place, and just also trying to, like, just be in the house is a little bit different, So now I'm like, I get most of my creative works done at night, and so I have to really readjust my schedule.
Yeah.
But I was definitely like, I'm waking up at 7:30, about to hit this treadmill, do an exercise video, come in, log in for class, do homework, and
this wasn't working.
And I mean, I think I accomplished like one day where I was like, I'm gonna treat like my day like a work day, have 8 hours like where I'm like focusing like on school. I took like 2 naps. Like
the nap ministry has been real during this quarantine, and I'll be like, wake up, the kingdom needs you, Kim, you are slumbering sleep, wake up. And I'll be like,
over there just knock like, hi Jesus,
5 more minutes, Lord.
Right. So I definitely agree, like, you need to find like what works for you. But when you find what works for you, I would say create a structure around that.
Absolutely.
So I'm still a person who like believes that structure is necessary, and discipline is necessary to a certain extent, only because you don't want to waste your hours. Like, one thing that I've personally been feeling, if you will, is like, I feel it coming. Is that we do have to give an account for our hours. Because as we have mentioned earlier, we spent so much time saying, I don't have time to do this. There's not enough time for me to do X, Y, and Z. And now we are in this forced moment of being still and getting our time together. So in a way, I personally believe, now this is not for everybody, but I don't want to come out of quarantine saying, oh, I did have this time, but now I don't have to. Exactly. So for me, I'm like, no, I really want to maximize that time for myself, and I want to be able to give an account. I do personally for myself, when quarantine is over, I do want to have things completed. And it's not so much to like, be like, oh yeah, I did X, Y, and Z, because I don't.
Which is what we talked about. There's a difference.
Exactly.
There's a big difference.
It's for my own personal gratification, saying, you know what, CJ, you took the time out to invest in yourself by finishing your projects. It's not for everybody to be like on Instagram or what have you, like, oh, I did this, but saying like, no, like, okay, girl.
Personally, I wanted to finish this, and I was able to finish it. And that was something like CJ told me, as far as having an account for our time, because we watched, it was a couple days ago, I had saw this video on Instagram, B. Simone. Shout out to B. Simone. Like,
girl, you did that.
You did that, girl. But it was a video, for those of you that may not have seen it, I want to encourage you to go to B. Simone's Instagram page. She posted a video of her and her friends, and they were basically speaking about, like, with by her 30th birthday, she was going to be a millionaire. She was going to have $1 million just in her savings.
So let that hit.
Her savings,
not the
y'all.
checking.
Like, my savings, I'm giving myself a tap on the back because I have one now. But she said $1 million, okay? And she grinded it out. When I tell you, homegirl was going back home, doing hair, which really made me like manifest, because I know how to do hair and be like, I don't want to do no hair. Like, she did whatever she needed to do to make sure them coins added up to what her goal was. And I saw that video, and when I tell you,
she sent it over, and she was just like,
I sent it over to CJ, and I was like, I've never been so inspired and so sick to my stomach in my entire life, because the way this girl just grinded, there is no way on God's green earth that I should not have that same type of story. What am I doing? And CJ was like, we're going to have to account for our time. And I said, Instagram is gone. And I deleted Instagram that night. And the very next day, CJ and I had a creative meeting for Too Dope to Be Broke. And when I tell you, my mind was so like, it was on a whole nother level, because I eliminated distractions. I had been spending so much time on social media to just kill time, because I was like, well, I can't be creative because I'm so distracted, then I might as well just do something else. So I was on social media spending unnecessary time watching other people's lives. And so cutting out distractions and giving an account for your time is real. Key, like, it's real. Woo! Well, y'all, I feel like we talked about a lot. We can go on forever about this, but for the sake of time and not having y'all on here forever, CJ, if we could wrap this whole thing up into like one little nice bow, what would you say to our audience who's going to be listening to this season, this series of Too Dope to Be Broke?
I would say... no,
we didn't discuss this, y'all. Right, so it's really like, y'all know how we are. We like it to be real and raw. So it's whatever comes at the dome. Now, I put her on the spot. Let me think about what I'm gonna say.
So honestly, you guys, I would say for you personally, just enjoy this time. Because I feel like, again, there's not a lot of enjoyment happening in this moment. And again, I know you're probably saying, like, CJ, how can I enjoy this time when there's, like, multiple deaths that are taking place? Life, as I have previously knew it, is completely, like, different. But I would say, for me, I'm very optimistic. So I have to find the silver lining in all of this.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I want to encourage you all in, is saying, with everything that we just said, just find the silver lining in being still. But don't let that creativity stop. Like, figure out just ways, just be creative, not even so much like on a project, but just be creative throughout your day. Like, for me, I have a routine. I'm getting up and I like to diffuse oils now. So like when Kim came over, I had my diffuser going. I had I'm creating a vibe for myself, for me just to enjoy my own personal space. Like that is like bringing me a lot of joy. So just find things that work personally for you, that bring you joy and that bring you peace.
Yeah, that's good. I had what I was going to say, and then I lost it because I wanted to actively listen to you and not be thinking about what I was going to say next. And so what I was going to say left.
It's like, bye, girl.
It's like, God dang it. What was I going to say? What would I give you guys as a summarize this whole thing? Oh, I think I remember now. Let me figure it out really quick. I lost it, y'all. I'll have to figure it out. Maybe I'll give it back in episode 2.
Right.
Because I don't remember what it was. And it was so good. Dang it! I should have wrote it down.
Listen, if it comes back to her, I'm gonna have her write it down, and
we'll put it on on a social media post or something.
Exactly. So,
but at the end of the day, the whole point is, I got it. Boom! Holy Spirit is real. The whole thing is, this too shall pass. Jesus Christ. That was about to be real janky. This too shall pass. And when it does, what do you want your now? Because when it's done, what is your now going to look like? And are you going to be satisfied with it? With each moment that God allows you to wake up and see another day and you are in good health and in good strength, what are you doing to make sure that you are building for whatever your future is going to look like? And I don't mean that to say that you need to be grinding it out or anything like that. But if that means that you've been grinding for 6 to 8 months and you haven't rested or centered yourself or figured out who you are, what's your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing, because it's not ripping and running for everybody else, then take this time to do and find out just that. So then when this passes, you are ready for the next phase of life that God is going to have you on. Because I do believe that God is really getting ready to do something amazing and so big for his children, and he needs this time to be so focused on him and what it is he desires for your life, so that way when he does allow this thing to go ahead and pass over, you are ready for your next. So yeah, this too shall pass.
I love it. That was a really
listen, that's why the enemy tried to take it out, because he was like you're not about to say that.
Exactly. So I hope that you all enjoyed it. Please, like Kim said, like, it's gonna pass. Make sure that y'all like took some notes. Like, I know we're being silly, but there was some nuggets that we
always dropping nuggets.
You know, also, this is on a serious tip, y'all. Please, like, come closer. Someone come close. If y'all know somebody in the IE who is doing nails out their house and who is okay with me coming over, please tag them in the YouTube. Like, look at this. Look. Now, so these are my nails, but that feel is like, I need it.
Wait, those are your real nails?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So these are my real nails, but if y'all
this is my nail. This is my fingers on a daily basis. I call them man hands because I don't feel like my hands should really look like this. Like, when you look at me, I don't think that this is what I should get. I should get like dainty fingers, but instead I got these carpenter hands.
Shut up. but for real, like, tag them. Like, I do not have COVID. But I need y'all, like, so blessings. Blessings to you and yours. And so just to let y'all know, just a quick overview. We got 5 episodes.
Yes.
This is episode number 1. So we'll be dropping every Friday.
For the
next 5 weeks. Tell a friend. Text them. Send them like, the little link. And please, y'all, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Because this is going to be on YouTube now. Woo, woo. Talk about upgrade.
Is it Too Dope to Be Broke?
Yeah, it's Too Dope to Be Broke.
Yes. Go to Apple Pod, rate us, subscribe, leave us a message.
We love to
we miss hearing from you guys. If you guys have any questions as well, feel free to email us at toodopetobebroke@gmail.com. So even though we're not technically on our own personal social medias, like we're still on the Too Dope to Be Broke. I might pop in on mine every once in a while. But you can follow Kim at
kim.s.scott.
And you guys could catch me. Oh, I can't get my words together. Y'all can catch me at She Is C Johnson, SHEISCJOHNSON. Too Dope to Be Broke at our Instagram. Y'all know how to spell that.
Yeah, and you guys, we have some pretty dope things coming through the pipelines. We can't talk about all of them, but some of them that we can talk about is we're gonna be having an exclusive Facebook group starting pretty soon. It's gonna be pretty beastie, and you're gonna want to join that group because there's gonna be some it's gonna be ridiculous. And I'm not just saying that because I hate when people say stuff like that and you be like it's really not that dope and you really didn't do much. But no, this is gonna be really good, you guys. We're building something really great, and we always say it's so much bigger than a podcast, and now we want to let you guys in on what that looks like. So be looking for that information, because we are going to be personally inviting some of our listeners who are just completely dedicated to listening to us and giving us great feedback. You'll be getting a personal invitation to join the group, and the others people who listen that we don't know about yet, you can request to join the group, and then we'll let you in.
Right. Also, stay tuned. We will be having a flash sale.
Yes.
So you see this merch?
Boy.
Gotta So we are going to be doing a flash sale on the merch. We want to get rid of the old. So we probably will bring these back.
I really love these.
But we're working on something new for a summer drop. So just stay tuned to our Instagram. We'll be dropping that there.
Absolutely.
As always, we want to shout out our amazing producer, producer.
Yes, the original Jay-Z.
Jasmine Zephyr, we love you so much.
We love you.
If we have the theme music playing, I don't know. I'm hearing it in my head. It's like the wrap up. We want to shout out Michael, Mother Student Hudson, Artificial Intelligence.
Absolutely.
Y'all can catch him on his Instagram. He goes by that. Do I know how to spell it? No. So I don't have it in front of me. I'm keeping it real. I can't get all those letters together. But y'all can find him on his Instagram. We'll drop the information like in a little detail box. Yeah. So y'all be able to go.
You can find it below.
Exactly. And we love you guys.
We love you guys so much. We're so excited for this season. It's going to be good. Thank you to all of our listeners of season 1. If you have not listened to us on season 1, or you simply just need to catch up, do yourself a favor and go do so now. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Anchor, everything that a podcast is pretty much distributed on. You can find us there. So do yourself a favor, catch up on season 1, and then listen to us with this mini series. We love you guys, and until next time, stay dope.